Hi there folks, welcome back to Rich Reviews. My latest film for you guys here now happens to be IFC Midnight's Settlers. This is the first time directorial debut of writer-director Wyatt Rockefeller. I have no doubt that he is not related to any of the high-profile Rockefellers. And this tells the story of a family led by Sophia Boutella, Johnny Lee Miller, and their daughter, played by Brooklyn Prince. And as we see in the beginning of this film, Sophia Boutella is Lisa, Johnny Lee Miller is the father, and I don't forget his name. And then, as I said, Brooklyn Prince is Remy, and they're on Mars. And I think we've all come to think to ourselves, okay, once people settle on Mars, will it all be peaceful? And this film pretty much proves that you may think, like with The Martian, people will go explore and everything will be happy and whatnot. Well, it turns out you'd be incorrect. At least at one point the father says early on, yeah, Earth's not what it was. You know, we see that Remy just looks at Earth with the pale blue dot in the sky above her. And they have a family of pigs. Although one has to wonder how they got those pigs down there in a breathable atmosphere. And of course, people are unhappy. Now, one day we see that there is blood on one of the windows. They say leave, and this angers the father and Sophia Boutella, and quite frankly, they know they're on borrowed time. And what do you know? Some invaders come calling, and the father gets his gun, the mother gets a machete. The father obviously goes out trying to kill the people. Things obviously do not go well for Johnny Lee Miller because he's only in the first 20 minutes of this film. And we are obviously introduced to a man named Jerry, played by a guy who I really don't remember. He was apparently on Ray Donovan and also on an episode of The Mandalorian, a film that I may have watched but I don't remember watching it, or I don't remember him. And he's sort of like, yeah, you stole this settlement from me. I grew up here. What happened to my father or my mother? And basically the Sophia Boutella character is sort of like, well, I shot your father because he was pointing a gun at me and I was 6 months pregnant, and well, that's always a rational response. Jerry tells the Brooklyn Prince character, hey, yeah, there were once obviously settlements on Mars. You guys may be the only last settlement left here on the planet Mars. Obviously, whether or not Jerry is telling the truth is up for Remy to discover herself. Jerry is telling the Sophia Boutella character, yeah, you got a month to figure out whether or not you want to kill me, which is sort of one of the most random things I heard a character say in a film about survival that I've ever come across. Now, granted, if The Martian shot, I think in like North Africa, here they shot the terrain, and I think the cinematography is wonderful. They happen to shoot this in the desert of South Africa, which I didn't realize there were any deserts in South Africa, but apparently there are. Action switches up to 9 years later, where the adult character of Remy is played by an actress who was apparently on a season of Game of Thrones, and congrats to her for that one actress to be starring in a film. But of course, one has to wonder, how do pigs breed on Mars? I'm just curious. Some critics have described this film as a relatively slow burn. Well, slow is correct. The characters do actually have conversations. It's not really about anything, or they do things that are just undeniably stupid. At least at one point when the younger Remy is going through a wall and she thinks to herself, okay, I'm going to go through this outside entrance and maybe I'll figure out what, is on the other side. Obviously that things don't do well, and Jerry's sort of like, now you know why we can't go out there, because there's nothing is out there. And so in the end, folks, what I'm going to say about Settlers, amazingly enough, I'm going to give this a matinee rating because I think some material here is worthwhile watching. I haven't watched a whole lot of IFC or IFC Midnight or IFC horror stuff. So folks, Settlers, have you seen this? What did you think? Please put everything in the comment box below here, folks. As always, folks, like, comment, subscribe. Rate yourself if not. I'll see you next time, folks. Yes, hooray.